Get away from me, bitch. I'll fucking put your face
Don't
up.
touch the car.
Mindy, stop. Stay back there. Stop.
Why are you yelling
Stop.
at me?
Go back there like I just said.
Why are you yelling at me?
I used to believe that if you stayed calm, spoke clearly, followed the rules, everything would work itself out. That night shattered that belief in about 15 minutes. It started like nothing, like a stupid argument that shouldn't have mattered, the kind couples have behind closed doors every day. I had my keys in my hand, engine running, late for work already, when Lena climbed onto the hood of my car like gravity stopped applying to her life. She wasn't crying, she wasn't begging, she was furious, pounding the metal with her phone, shouting that I was trapping her, controlling her, ruining her life. And all I could think was, the neighbors are watching. Again. I backed up slowly, palms open, voice steady, recording with my phone because experience had taught me a brutal lesson. If there's no video, your truth doesn't exist. She yelled louder. I asked her to get down. She screamed that she'd end me one day. Said it smiling. That was the moment something snapped inside my chest. Not fear exactly, more like clarity. When the patrol car rolled in, lights flashing blue across the houses, I felt relief for about 3 seconds. Then I saw the way one officer looked at me, up and down, fast, calculating, like he'd already decided who I was. And just like that, the story stopped being about what happened and became about who they thought I was. The first officer pulled me aside, voice low, casual, like we were two guys chatting at a gas station. "So, what's going on tonight?" I told him everything, slowly, no drama, no insults. I talked about the threats, about sleeping in the basement, about removing knives from the house because I didn't feel safe anymore. I used words like de-escalate, documentation, concern. I thought that mattered. He nodded, wrote things down, then turned to Lena. That's when the energy shifted. Her voice cracked, her hands shook, her story bent and reshaped itself mid-sentence. She admitted to hitting the car, admitted to knocking the phone out of my hand, admitted she was yelling, but every sentence ended with me being the reason. I was coming at her, I was watching her, I was scaring her. And here's where bias doesn't look like hate, it looks like instinct. The officers didn't see a volatile situation. They saw a distressed woman and a calm man, and in their training, calm doesn't equal afraid, it equals control, especially when the man looks like me. This is something people don't like hearing, but it's real. Police are trained to assess threats quickly, and those assessments are shaped by patterns they've seen, calls they've responded to, stereotypes they don't even realize they're carrying. When race, gender, and emotional expression collide, perception starts driving decisions. One officer asked me, "Were you afraid right then?" I answered honestly. Not at that exact second, I had distance. And that was the wrong answer, because fear that isn't loud doesn't register. Then things escalated fast. Lena refused instructions. She moved towards an officer, shouting, hands flying. Commands got louder. Control techniques came out. She resisted. She was arrested for domestic violence and resisting. People watching clips online think that's the end. It's not. The real damage happens after. Her sister arrived like a storm, accusing me of drugging Lena, manipulating the system, waiting for insurance money, hiding evidence. Wild accusations, no proof, but said with certainty. And again, the officers listened longer than they questioned because confidence sounds like truth when you already expect guilt. This is where understanding police process matters. Officers are trained to prioritize immediate safety over long-term context. They don't investigate deeply on scene, they categorize, victim, aggressor, remove one variable, restore order, move on. That system works until it doesn't. I wasn't arrested, that's the victory if you want to call it that. But the real win came later, in court, in paperwork, in consistency. I filed protective orders, I documented everything, I didn't trash talk online, I didn't raise my voice. And slowly, painfully, the narrative cracked. Text messages contradicted accusations, videos showed restraint, not aggression, timelines didn't line up. And the thing about truth is, it doesn't need volume, it needs time. Eventually, the charges collapsed under their own weight, not because the system suddenly cared, but because facts don't bend forever. But let's be clear about something uncomfortable. Why did it get that far? Because behavior is interpreted through bias. When a woman screams, it's distress. When a man stays calm, it's suspicion. When a minority man documents, it's controlling. When he protects himself, it's manipulative. That doesn't make officers evil. It makes the system human, and humans carry bias unless it's actively challenged. That's the lesson nobody teaches. Now here's where opinions split, and I want them to. Some people will say, the police did their job. Others will say, this was discrimination, plain and simple. The truth sits uncomfortably in the middle. Officers didn't wake up planning to target me, but they walked into a scene with expectations already formed by culture, statistics, and experience, and those expectations shaped every question, every pause, every assumption. And the danger isn't just to people like me, it's to trust. When communities believe the law sees them before it hears them, cooperation dies. When calm is mistaken for guilt and emotion is mistaken for innocence, justice becomes inconsistent, and inconsistency is poison to legitimacy. Here's the part people don't like. No matter how unfair things feel, violating the law will always cost you more than following it. Every time Lena resisted, she made the situation worse. Every time I stayed within the law, I protected myself, even when it felt humiliating. That's the lesson. You can fight bias, but you can't fight it with chaos. You can challenge injustice, but not by breaking the rules. Because the system may be flawed, but it is relentless. So here's my question to you, and I want real answers, not slogans. Did bias influence this situation? Should officers be trained differently to recognize fear that isn't loud? And how do we protect both victims and the falsely accused without turning every call into a battlefield? Drop your thoughts in the comments, argue respectfully, challenge each other. This is how systems change, not through silence, not through rage, but through accountability and law. Live right, document everything, respect the law, even when it doesn't respect you back. Because in the end, truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs to survive long enough to be heard.